don't go see Morbius.
That's how awkward it was the whole time.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
We just left the theater to see the anticipated vampire thriller.
Infamous.
I don't really know what this movie was. I understand what all the reviews were saying, and I expected it to be way worse. Don't get me bad. It's a bad movie.
Don't get me bad.
No, don't get me bad. It's a bad movie. But it's still kind of bad.
It
Bad.
doesn't deserve
bad.
all the hate that it gets, but
Yes,
it does deserve hate.
It deserves every single bit of hate.
I wouldn't say every single bit. Probably
I
about
would say about
80%
every
of it.
single bit.
I would say about 80%.
80% of it.
The majority
It's
of it.
not good. I would recommend it to no one.
We'll start out with there. I'm trying to remember the movie, like pacing wise.
It's a Sony movie.
Okay, so we got there probably 8 minutes after the movie started, and Michael Morbius was already getting covered by bats.
Yeah, in that cave.
I'm not sure what was happening there.
That was the scene where the helicopter lands on that little cliff
In the trailer.
And he,
remember when he was
hand
like, "If you're gonna run, do it now."
Why would that have been happening right there?
at the big exactly, very awkwardly paced.
So when we walked in, it was pure confusion.
Okay.
Yeah, we couldn't even see.
And spoiler alerts. I mean, there's not really any spoilers in here, but
Doesn't
we're gonna
matter.
talk about the movie.
It's meaningless.
It definitely has the Sony pacing. It started off exactly like Carnage. Let There Be Carnage, where it starts off going back in time to try to force some sort of foundation.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And what's the other movie that did that too? That was really embarrassing. Uncharted.
Yeah.
Uncharted.
Yeah.
When you start off the movie and put no attention to that intro, it was just kind of like this was before. Let me just show you that real fast. And it just makes it super cheesy. So then the whole movie, I called it, that's the villain, huh?
And their doctor when they were children is also their doctor when they're adults.
Who hasn't aged
and he has aged no amount.
Like, he's the real vampire of this movie.
Dude,
Whoa,
that'd be
honestly.
hilarious.
Honestly, that would be a twist to where I'd be like, that makes sense.
That would have actually been a good.
That would have been a better twist.
It wouldn't have been a
female.
good twist, but it would have been a great reason to laugh, which this movie has none of.
Yes.
Like other than badness.
Yes, and towards the end, I don't even know if it's like spoiler alert because it was just kind of like what just happened with like the
Dude, if someone
the female character.
If someone got mad at me for spoiling Morbius, I would laugh at them.
Yeah, no.
So I think we're in the clear.
We're definitely in
the clear.
But pacing, and then it was a long movie for what it was.
Yeah, it should have been shorter for sure.
It should have been shorter, but what I don't get is that it felt so rushed, but felt so long.
Yeah,
because like you said, it was just jumping around.
But why did it take so long? It wasn't necessarily boring. Like I was excited to see what horrible scene was next, but it just felt like it just was too long.
Another thing that didn't make sense. I mean, the whole movie just kind of didn't. But anyway, like when he busted out of his cell, right, to go literally fight Milo, and then in the train station, he's like, "I'm not going to fight you." It's like, but so why'd you?
yeah.
I
What are you
guess
doing?
to like stop him.
Dude, he watched him murder 9 cops and then just like sulks
Yeah.
off. Like, I'm gonna walk away and then fly away from you.
In the second he changed, he immediately was like the worst person in the world, destined to be.
Yeah.
He just turned into a vampire,
Dude,
then he was like, "What has he become?"
Yeah.
We don't know yet, really. Like, why don't you go? Just ask him. Be like, "You drank the blood, huh?"
Yeah.
What now?
One thing that doesn't make sense to me. Well, once again, this whole movie. But anyway, he took the serum, right? How did he know how to inject it properly? Who did it for him? Like, there's so many plot holes right there.
That also could have been
But check
anything.
this out. The female, is it the female not the protagonist, right?
His girl.
What was she? What's she considered?
She was like
Because I don't remember the name.
She was a doctor. as well.
The doctor assistant, or maybe
Martine.
another doctor,
Yeah,
Martine.
her name was
Yeah.
Martine.
Oh,
I'm pretty
Martine,
sure.
okay.
Yeah. His girlfriend.
She injected herself.
What?
Did she?
How did she turn into a vampire at the end?
That weird lip bite thing where
Yeah.
she bit his lip and
So
then
just because she drank
his
a
blood.
blood's vampire,
A blood's vampire.
a vampire's blood, that's why she turned.
That's actually
Yeah.
how you're supposed to turn into a vampire and like like vampire lore. Like,
See,
like
everybody knows
How
it.
ridiculous though.
everybody knows it.
It's yeah. It's very
Like,
clear.
did you ever watch
vampire in
Dracula
this.
Untold with
Dracula Untold?
Luke Evans.
Untold.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember liking it when it came out.
Dracula
Yeah.
Untold.
So like basically he goes to see Dracula in a cave, and he doesn't bite him to turn him. He makes him drink his blood.
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of that's. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I understand how that would turn into a vampire, but it's just kind of.
I mean, I guess
the most
for-
random, pointless, like,
Yeah.
like she was literally about to die,
And she just bit his lip.
That was
and then
weird,
in
yeah.
the middle of a kiss, she's just like, "Oh, brilliant idea."
Yeah, and then she did like a weird. She like licked his blood off her lip, in,
Like
a
she-
sexual
like
way.
she
It was
knew.
weird. And then she died. It was
Yeah.
so weird.
That was a Star Wars type of death for me.
And
No.
dude, as I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, okay, so she's a vampire now."
Yeah.
But
It was quite clear, and then they make
But
it
there's
like
no emotion
They make
to
it a
it.
no. There's no emotion in this entire movie.
like she's dying, and then she does that, and everyone's super confused. And then she was literally 2 frames before the movie was over with her opening her eyes, and then that was it.
Yeah.
It's just basically like, hey, she survived because
Yeah.
the little sexual lip bite. Man, I'm all flipped around
A
today.
little sexual light bit.
Lap bit.
Well, I wonder if it was because of her drinking the blood and him biting her, which would still be dumb.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He completely
Yeah, he bit the absolute dog.
Morbius. I was about to say he did go. Yeah, he did
We're
go
gonna have
in.
to go with a bleep there.
Yeah. You're gonna hear Morbius.
He bit the absolute
absolute
Morbius
Morbius.
out of her.
now you have the sound clip.
Morbius. But he did drink the rest of her blood.
Yeah,
right?
so
Like,
I
I'm
would
assuming.
assume that her
So when she
drinking
wakes up,
his blood made her a vampire, and then him draining her of all of her blood didn't kill her because she was a vampire.
Yeah, cool.
I guess.
so does she wake up bloodless?
Who
Well,
cares?
in the comics,
It
like
doesn't
she's
like you're thinking about it too much.
I'm trying to have any thought.
well,
about
like
this movie.
here's the thing.
Like,
though.
any thought at
Here's
all.
the thing. Like in the comics, she is an actual undead vampire where he is not, and I think
Oh, because he's alive technically.
Yeah.
So she can't go in the sun.
So is she just like Morbius? Like, so is that where the joke comes in, where he put his hand in the sun and he was like, "Oh,
yeah,
not that kind of vampire."
Yeah,
But
That-
she,
but
she
she
is.
might be.
but she now might be. Yeah.
Okay.
Because in the comics, like I think her
This movie
mission-
just got good. No, it didn't.
in the comics, I think her mission is to actually turn him into a real vampire.
Well, I guess that would make sense because if she can't be with him after what she did, she's gonna want him to be a vampire. He doesn't want to be a
She
vampire.
can't be with him after what? What do you mean? After what she did?
Like now,
Well,
now
because
that
she's
a
gonna be
real
like
vampire
she's
now.
gonna be in like that undead vampire, like how what Jared Leto was trying to prevent, that Morbius full on look. That's like the undead vampire.
but she didn't look like that.
Yeah, I guess she
when
just-
she opened,
just
when
red
she opened
eyes.
her eyes, all she did was have red eyes.
It was just red
Yeah.
eyes, yeah.
I guess when she gets her first
Taste of
official
blood.
taste of blood, she'll
Because
turn.
didn't they say something about the first enemy or the first victim he had? He couldn't control it. He was telling Morbius that, like,
yeah,
you know,
but
that.
I would be more surprised if this movie had a second
No,
installment.
they better not have a second
Yeah.
one. It felt like that part towards the end was just thrown in there, kind of like the Joker in
Batman.
where it's kind of like, if this gets cleared for a second one,
We're gonna
we have
use this.
we have
Yeah.
a way to go. Do not clear Morbius.
Like
Do not clear Morbius. Okay, so
Sony would never listen, but
yeah,
don't even do an
don't
Andrew
care.
Garfield Spider-Man.
No.
Please don't do that to us. Don't do that to
I
us.
we know
wanted
you're
it
a
so
fan
bad,
of us. We
but
know
now I
you're
know
watching
they'll
this
mess it up.
video. For the love of God,
Don't accept
stay away from Sony.
anything that Sony says that has anything to do with Spider-Man, because there was nothing that was anything Spider-Man about this movie
at all.
I saw a Daily Bugle newspaper,
That made me laugh.
and that is literally it.
The only connection they had to Venom was in the very beginning when he said we haven't seen anything like this since San Francisco.
Yeah,
That was the only connection they had.
And then
anytime
him
they
actually
reference-
saying Venom.
Yeah, it's like you're not a cinematic universe.
So, I mean, so obviously
Nice try.
they're just trying to like staple the fact that Venom and Morbius are in the same universe. But everything that we
Dude.
saw in the trailer, we didn't see in the movie.
These
Yeah.
Morbius, like these Sony movies referencing each other was like when Eternals referenced Superman and Batman. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, where it just didn't fit in
Yeah.
any of the anything.
And that scene where Milo was walking in the alley, you can tell that's where that Spider-Man poster was
yeah,
supposed
right.
to be.
Yeah.
I was about to.
That's exactly where it's supposed to be, and they
Yeah.
just cut it out.
They had to have, because if that was absolutely Raimi's Spider-Man.
Because
After No Way Home,
and it had
there's
murderer
no way,
on it, didn't it?
Yeah, and there's no way in hell that
Yeah.
Sony would be like, or after all that, they're not going to be like, oh, Toby is going to be in our universe.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Right.
So they're like, okay, we got to take that out. Can we have Vulture?
Dude, honestly,
Holland is like, yeah.
They could have said any Spider-Man because this movie's done now.
Yeah, and the director was saying that the fans would kill him if he said which Spider. And
Dude,
I even heard that there was. Now we watch a lot of YouTube, content creators talking about speculation and everything, and they're saying that, or at least this specific. I don't know where I got it. I don't even remember. But what they were saying is that this one could be a scenario to where there obviously is a Spider-Man totem in that universe, but it's not Garfield or it's not Toby, it's not Holland.
I think that would be
they're
hilarious.
gonna
just is a
there
Spider-Man.
just is a Spider-Man. So
would-
whenever there's a chance to bring in some sort of Spider-Girl or
flip a coin and
Spider-Man,
choose one.
they're just gonna
That
be
would
like,
be-
hey, we already have a BS universe here.
That's the best route they can take because that would be really funny.
Dude, go for it. At this point, I don't care. Just don't put MCU. It's not like people that are making comments on social media saying like, we finally have a vampire in the MCU and all this stuff. Like, my dude,
imagine
this is not the MCU.
Imagine it's like Zac Efron or something.
That'd be dope.
That'd be incredible.
I'd watch it just like we went to go see Morbius. $13 for 3 tickets. Let's go.
This should be the comic comedy universe.
The comic comedy universe.
The Marvel
comic universe.
The MCU, the Marvel Comedy Universe.
The comic comedy cinematic universe.
comic comedy cinematic universe. What's that? CC
Yeah, dude, it's the CCC.
CCCU.
It's the CCCU.
Dude.
Speaking of CC,
Dude, we can literally make a playlist this
We could make
We
a
can't-
and
we
it's
can't
all
CCU
about the
playlist.
Sony.
we can't let
Yeah.
Tyrese slide. We have to
Morbius.
crap on him
And-
for
and-
a little bit.
You're gonna hear Morbius.
Did you say on Toby?
Did I? I meant to say Tyrese if I did.
Oh, wait, hold on, wait. I didn't hear that. But Tyrese, hold on.
I almost
Tyrese.
forgot that Tyrese was in the movie.
There was no reason for him to be in the movie. So something would happen, and then Tyrese and his partner would just show up
And
and
they
do
would-
nothing.
They would automatically blame Morbius without any evidence.
Yeah.
And do nothing at all. Nothing was said. He just asked a question or be like, "Man, what happened here?" And then that's it.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
his partner is in Night School. That's the guy from Night School where he's like, "I'd kill you," or he was, yeah,
Is it really?
No, not like Justin Bieber.
yeah, not like Justin Bieber, like
man.
Enrique Iglesias.
This
Dude,
movie.
it's the most pointless thing in the world, and the whole arm hand thing. Now I'm really curious to figure out what their plan was for that, or if Tyrese was supposed to be some sort of
Well, I mean, like you
villain.
can see his arm had like wires in it. Like it's like a
yeah.
Could?
There was one.
on
There was
when
one
they were
frame.
walking up to the hole.
Dude, there was so much in this movie that got cut.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like
and you
there
can
was
tell.
a scene in the trailer where it was daytime. You could see it, and that wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, the majority of it. They should have cut Tyrese and everything in that.
This movie shouldn't have happened.
This movie really shouldn't have happened.
Like I feel sorry for Jared Leto because,
Dude, at this point, I don't. It's
No, like,
because,
I'm-
it's like he's searching them out.
no, like hear me out. Like me and Mike have established that like he is actually a good actor. Like because we saw his range from Joker to this, but he's just in horrible movies.
I don't think he was a good Joker.
No, but I'm saying like just like the range that he can bring out. Like he's like if you listen to the audio, you would not assume
What do you
Jared
mean?
Leto is Joker. Like if you just listen to Joker
His
talk.
voice, like when he was growling, Morbius,
Like-
Morbius, when he was growling, Morbius.
when him talking as Morbius did not sound like.
He had like a weird like.
You couldn't
It
tell
was a
that
different
he was-
voice.
Yeah.
And he's in, dude.
He was like a weird whispery voice.
Jared Leto is one of my favorite actors still. But the thing is, like the roles that he has,
They're just
he's one of
horrible.
those actors where it's all in, or like it's all in. So if you
Yeah.
give him, he's gonna go all in no matter what. So if it's a trash movie, it's gonna make it look like he's bringing the trash.
Well, yeah, I would honestly say that these past movies that I've seen him in, are tainting my view of him.
The Suicide Squad, horrible,
Horrible.
Don't get me wrong.
There was like 45 minutes of him that was supposed to be in it, right?
Yes.
And I think
Yeah.
I think if they would have added that in, it would have been worse.
You think so?
Honestly, I don't think so, because I think the way that they handled the rest of the Suicide Squad was just like even Harley. Well, the way that they portrayed that Joker being like the chrome pink Lamborghini,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
and then having the Joker on his own cell phone car, like that's. I don't like the way that they portrayed it. No. But Snyder's version, that's still Leto, still playing Joker, but it's a different one that the director gave him. You know what I mean?
That one maybe a little uncomfortable a little bit.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like it
but
did
that
made me a little uncomfortable. Like
that. No, I thought that was a great Joker, but that's kind of what I'm saying. He's gonna go all in depending on what the director gives him.
Right.
So like Morbius, dude, if Disney actually took this, they would have done well, dude.
Yeah.
This is you could feel Sony all over this.
Yeah.
Pacing, the way that they're shooting, the way that they're just talking to each other. That Disney wouldn't do that at all.
the cuts, the edits,
the edits.
Yeah, it was just.
That's like what a Disney film looks like, and now we know what a DC film looks like. We know what it is.
Yeah.
And
then
this
we
was
have
Sony. This was Sony all up and down. It felt like Venom. It felt like Carnage. Like it.
Yeah.
Like they should just stick to video games.
The cheesiness.
Yeah.
Dude, the cheesiness. It feels like the Sony universe.
Yeah.
Like the Sony cheese universe.
Yeah.
The SCU.
The CCCU.
The CCCU. But the movie.
we got to give it our scores for it.
I'm still stuck on what I would give it because
2 out of 10.
Like there was times where I was saying like a 6.5, then there was times where I was saying 5, then there's times I was saying 2.
Dude, there was no point where I was like 6.
See, okay, no. You remember when I was kind of like, it's not as bad as I thought it was.
That's when I was at a 6.
And then 15 seconds later, it was like, why did they just do that?
Let's have
It just dropped.
Well, it not being as bad as I thought it was, I was still.
But that was probably good.
At no point was I over a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a scenario to where like all of the Rotten Tomato scores, all of the reviews, dreadful. So I was expecting literally the worst thing I've ever seen. It was a bad movie, but I think having such a low bar kept me in that area. So I was like, yeah, that's what I expected, I guess.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, the CGI.
So what would
wasn't
you guys say is
horrible.
Marvel's worst movie so far?
I just wouldn't call this a Marvel movie.
I wouldn't call it. Yeah, it's not in the spectrum.
It's a movie with Marvel characters in it.
It's a Sony
That's
movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like out of all the movies that have Marvel characters in it, like including like the '90s ones, like not MCU, just I'm talking about all of them entirely. Like, what would you say the worst one is?
Daredevil with Ben Affleck.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's DC. Never mind.
You were gonna say Catwoman?
I was gonna rip a new one on Lantern, but that's DC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would have to say that one. Yeah, Daredevil.
Yeah.
With Affleck and Electric Nachos.
And Rattlesnake's Bullseye.
Oh, hey.
That's Penguin, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which hey,
It's crazy.
Dude,
thank good.
Colin Farrell's a great actor.
Crazy.
Yeah.
See that's kind of where
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the Jared Leto situation. He will go all in,
Yeah.
but if
Yeah, he will.
if it's just gonna be a horrible movie and he goes all in, he's gonna be extra bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my score is a 3 out of 10. A 3 out of 10, just because CGI wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Story was a mess.
Story was a mess. Everything was expected from a Sony film.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be a 2, but I kind of expected it to be.
Yeah. No emotions at any point. At one point, there was a mother of 2 that got murdered on screen, and I felt
There was?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the hallway.
The
The first
nurse.
person that Milo killed.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
the movie sucks.
Horrible movie.
But the movie sucks.